Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Oh, what's up, party people? KeysDAN, RadioWhat.com, DJLittleRock.com, coming to you live and in living color from the Radio What Studios. And this is my podcast, What Makes You Smarter. It's an extension of the RadioWhat.com internet radio station that I've been running for quite some time. And if you need DJ services, where do I always send you? DJLittleRock.com. One more time, DJLittleRock.com. Check availability and get a free price quote. And maybe you can have me at your next event. You know I like to party with the people. The people need to be entertained. This week's shows, tomorrow night, Thursday night, I will be doing a show in Conway, Arkansas. Not my regular video dance party karaoke jam. Let me find the event. Oh my goodness, I should have found the event already. It's called the Good Fight Motivational Night, September 17th. That's Thursday, September 17th at the National Black Belt Academy, 2104 Harkrider Street in Conway, Arkansas, Suite 107. Now, the Good Fight Motivational Night is a motivational night. How about that? I've never been much of a motivational speaker, although I do like to motivate people. It's being put on by Marina Am Dream. She is out of the Little Rock, Arkansas area, and she's also a great photographer. That's how I met her at a wedding years ago. My goodness. And then she immediately we clicked. I appreciate her attitude, her personality, and she definitely is a motivator of people. I've been following her on her various social medias, and she likes to help people. When you're feeling down, when you're feeling blue, she gives you the good words to help you through. How about that? Hey, I think I just rhymed. I might use that tomorrow night. Don't steal it. There's going to be 11 speakers, including Marina Am Dream, tomorrow night between 6 and 8 p.m. That's at the the National Black Belt Academy. National Black Belt Academy, 2104 Harkrider Street, Conway, Arkansas. Come and see me. I'm one of the 10 featured speakers. So there you go. Thank you so much, Marina Am Dream, for putting this on. The people need to be motivated. We need to be helping each other. And also, Friday night, I'll be at the Rab in Conway, Arkansas. My usual video dance party karaoke jam on Friday night. Yeah, the place to be on a Friday night. And so 8 p.m. until 1 in the a.m. They got the full bar, the kitchen's open, pool tables. There's always something to do while you're waiting to sing a song on stage at the Rab in Conway, Arkansas. Oh yeah, they have a pool tournament on Friday nights. So if you want to try to make some money, do it. Give it a try. Go ahead. Bring your pool stick. Or they have some hanging on the walls that you can use, of course. And then Saturday night, I have a wedding. Woo, the excitement is building. A wedding. The weddings are coming back. You know those are my specialty. I enjoy partying with the people on their big day. Wow, is that cliche? How's your special day? How's your big day? But you know I bring it. I got the lights. I think they want karaoke at this one, so I got the video screens. I usually bring the video screens anyway, just to put their logos up, or, during the reception part while they're all dancing, I could put music videos up there. Or if they want to have one of those through the years, pictures in their dinner time, them growing up. Yeah, the families seem to like that. I enjoy it too. See the kids as they grow up individually and then as they're courting. Yeah, it's cool. All right. So come join me. Well, tomorrow night, the Good Fight Motivational Night in Conway, Arkansas, put on by Marina Am Dream, and also at the Rab in Conway, Arkansas on Friday night. And then the wedding, well, unless you're invited, you can't go. It's a private party. All right. Also, if you'd like to tell your story or hear the stories of others, I encourage you to check out my other podcast, What Makes You Famous. Find it everywhere using the hashtag What Makes You Famous. Now, on with the show. Today on the program, 10 things you need to know today for Wednesday, September 16th, 2020. 10 things you need to know today. Number 1, Israel signs diplomatic pacts with UAE and Bahrain. Israel on Tuesday signed diplomatic pacts normalizing relations with the United Arab Emirates and Bahrain at a White House ceremony. President Trump, portraying himself as a peacemaker, declared the agreements to be historic. Quote, after decades of division and conflict, we mark the dawn of a new Middle East, end quote, Trump said. The deal came after Israel's relations with the two Arab nations had already begun to thaw as they focused on their common enemy, Iran. Palestinians slammed the agreements as betrayals by fellow Arabs. The foreign ministers of the UAE and Bahrain noted that Israel had agreed to suspend plans to annex West Bank settlements and said that the agreements to exchange diplomats and cooperate on education, trade, security, and other issues would be helpful toward creating a Palestinian state. This is according to the Associated Press. Number 2, Hurricane Sally threatens historic flooding near Alabama-Florida line. Hurricane Sally strengthened overnight and shifted eastward as it approached the Gulf Coast early Wednesday, threatening the Alabama, Florida, and Mississippi coasts with potentially, quote, extreme life-threatening flash flooding, end quote, and National Hurricane Center forecaster said. Sally's top sustained winds jumped from 85 miles per hour late Tuesday to 105 miles per hour on Wednesday, making it a Category 2 storm. Slow-moving Sally could dump up to 30 inches of rain in some areas and hit parts of the Gulf Coast with storm surge as high as 7 feet. The National Hurricane Center's latest advisory said the storm was nearing landfall around the Alabama-Florida border, where hurricane conditions were reported hours earlier. This is according to CBS News and the National Hurricane Center. Number 3, Pelosi promises new stimulus package before November election. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, Democrat California, said Tuesday that the House would remain in session as long as it takes for lawmakers to deliver a new corona relief package before the November election. Democrats have rejected a, quote, skinny, end quote, $600 billion relief bill proposed by Senate Republicans. But Pelosi has signaled willingness to settle for less than the $2.4 trillion Democrats were offering as a compromise after initially proposing more. The Bipartisan Problem Solvers Caucus unveiled a package that would cost about $1.5 trillion to break a month-long impasse in talks between the White House and leading Democrats. The plan was attacked by both conservatives and liberals, but the group's Democratic co-chair, Representative John Gothimer, New Jersey, said it was just a framework to, quote, get the negotiators back to the table, end quote. This is according to Reuters and The Hill. Number 4, Louisville reaches $12 million settlement with Breonna Taylor's family. Louisville, Kentucky Mayor Greg Fisher announced Tuesday that his city had agreed to pay $12 million to the family of Breonna Taylor, the 26-year-old emergency medical technician who was fatally shot 6 months ago by police who were carrying out late-night no-knock raid. Taylor's boyfriend, who was legally armed, thought criminals were breaking in and fired a shot, and the officers responded with a heavy barrage of gunfire, hitting Taylor 5 times and killing her. The settlement, the largest for police misconduct in the city's history, will not affect the ongoing investigation into the case. Taylor's mother has called for the officers to be charged. Quote, we see this settlement as the bare minimum you can do for a grieving mother, end quote, the social justice organization Until Freedom said. This is according to USA Today and CNN. Number 5, Biden appeals for Latino support in Florida. Democratic presidential nominee Joe Biden on Tuesday made his first visit to Florida of the general election campaign, focusing on appeals for support from the swing states, veterans, and Latino voters. Biden said the He included a Hispanic Heritage Month stop in Kissimmee, near Orlando, to, quote, talk about how I'm going to work like the devil to make sure I turn every Latino and Hispanic vote, end quote. His running mate, Senator Kamala Harris of California, visited Miami, where Democrats have warned President Trump is gaining ground among Hispanic voters, especially among conservative Cuban Americans alarmed by Trump's portrayal of Biden as a figurehead for radicals pushing social policies. But Biden noted that Florida's Latino voters are diverse and said his support is higher than Trump's, quote, but they've got to go higher, end quote. This is according to the New York Times. Number 6, Japan's parliament elects Yoshihide Suga prime minister. Yoshihide Suga, prime minister. Japan's parliament on Wednesday elected Yoshihide Suga as the country's new prime minister. Suga replaces Shinzo Abe, who unexpectedly announced his resignation last month, citing health problems. Suga easily won the vote in Japan's lower house, a result that was expected after his election as the majority conservative Liberal Democratic Party's leader. Suga is expected to continue the policies of Abe, a close ally. Abe held his last cabinet meeting earlier Wednesday and said he was proud of what he accomplished in his record-long, nearly 8 years in power. Suga has served for years in the government's number 2 spot as chief cabinet secretary. He takes over as Japan struggles with the coronavirus pandemic, which has triggered Japan's worst economic downturn on record. This is according to BBC News. Number 7, DOJ launches criminal investigation over Bolton's book. The Justice Department is investigating whether former National Security Advisor John Bolton's recent book criminally disclosed classified information, the New York Times reported Tuesday, citing 3 people familiar with the matter. A grand jury has issued a subpoena to Simon & Schuster, the publisher of The Room Where It Happened, for communications records. Bolton published his book in June despite the Trump administration's attempt to prevent its release. A judge said the book could come out, but Bolton had exposed himself, quote, to civil and potentially criminal liability, end quote, and, quote, likely jeopardized national security by disclosing classified information in violation of his non-disclosure agreement obligations, end quote. Bolton has said the book doesn't contain classified information. Trump has accused Bolton of revealing secrets and filling the book with, quote, made-up stories, end quote. This is according to the New York Times. Number 8, HHS official apologizes for inflammatory Facebook outburst. The Health and Human Services Department's top spokesperson, Michael Caputo, apologized on Tuesday to Secretary Alex Azar and his staff for a Facebook rant in which he accused scientists fighting the coronavirus pandemic of, quote, sedition, end quote, and warned of looming attacks by left-wing, quote, hit squads, end quote. Caputo reportedly said he regretted embarrassing Azar and HHS. Caputo, a close ally of President Trump, blamed his behavior on the toll of health problems and what he said had been death threats against his family. Caputo also admitted that he had never read any of the morbidity and mortality weekly reports produced on COVID-19 by the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, even though his team repeatedly tried to revise, delay, or scrap them. Caputo is considering taking medical leave, Politico reported, citing 3 people with knowledge of the situation. This is according to Politico and the New York Times. Number 9, WTO finds some U.S. tariffs against China violated trade rules. The World Trade Organization on Tuesday ruled that some of the United States tariffs on Chinese goods broke international trade rules. The WTO backed China in a complaint filed in 2018 accusing the Trump administration of violating WTO rules by singling out China with tariffs that were stiffer than those imposed on other countries. The WTO allows limited reasons that can justify tariffs hitting just one country, and the WTO said the U.S. tariffs didn't qualify. President Trump's top trade advisor, U.S. Trade Representative Robert Lighthizer, said the WTO was showing once again that it is, quote, completely inadequate to stop China's harmful technology practices, end quote. China's Ministry of Commerce said the WTO ruling was, quote, fair and objective, end quote, and the U.S. should comply. This is according to the Wall Street Journal. Number 10, fires burn on, making air quality unhealthy in western cities. Dozens of wildfires fueled by critically dry conditions are continuing to burn in California, Oregon, and Washington, sending haze across the United States. The fires have now scorched more than 5 million acres and forced tens of thousands of evacuations. Heavy smoke is hanging over major cities like Portland and Sacramento, and the air quality is unhealthy in most areas. In Los Angeles County, firefighters are battling flames within 500 feet of the 116-year-old Mount Wilson Observatory. The Bobcat Fire has been burning in the Los Angeles National Forest since September 6th and grew to more than 40,000 acres after crossing containment lines overnight. Mount Wilson Observatory was founded by George Ellery Hale in 1904 and has been visited by everyone from Albert Einstein to Stephen Hawking. This is according to the Los Angeles Times and NPR. That's 10 things you need to know today for Wednesday, September 16th, 2020. Thank you so much for listening. I apologize for all my stumbling, but, you know, I'm trying to make myself smarter. And while I have this broadcast equipment sitting here in front of me, might as well make you smarter as well. But if you're taking all your news from me, I encourage you not to. Make sure you look up all the footnotes that I leave at the bottom of every little news item. I number them 1 through 10. 10 things you need to know today. Also, if you'd like to tell your story or hear the stories of others, I encourage you to check out my other podcast, What Makes You Famous. Find it everywhere using the hashtag What Makes You Famous. And lately, as I've been winding down, I've been streaming video games online. Yeah, it's a way for me to wind down after a long day of work. And while I'm at it, once again, I have this broadcast equipment sitting in front of me. I might as well stream it online. Look that up using the hashtag KeysDAN Gaming. You can find me on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Yeah. All right. Lots of places to find me and my voice and the various things I do. That's it for me. It's KeysDAN, RadioWhat.com, DJLittleRock.com. Peace. I'm out.